is that Black women are innately strong, and we exhibit a certain strength. Many times that is also interpreted as being angry. And one of the reasons for that is because primarily the Black woman has been the one who has had to keep the family together. Some
She faded out on us. I mean, I think I get where she was going into slavery and everything. Corey, don't be writing too much down because I know how you get down too.
Hey, I'm old, baby. I can't remember everything so fast no more.
Yeah, I said no more. Hey, just slow it down a little bit. But what I be seeing in a black women always got to be strong and everything is that
There she go.
I think some yeah there she go I think some black women carry it too far. It's like I said before, a man wants a strong, independent woman, but a man doesn't want a woman that's gonna be in a man's role. A man is just that simple. And then, like she was saying, like a woman had to be so long to be. I think this is where you was going. So long they had to be the head of the house. 'Cause that's why we got the big mamas. That's why we got the I can go to my auntie's house and I can do this. That's why we got that. You know what I'm saying? Yes. But at what point does she has to stop being strong? When she
Well,
knows she got
I
a
think to
strong
just kind
man.
of sum it up, I don't know why I dropped a couple times. I'm on my Apple device, but I think that the Black woman writ large in society has not been given the luxury to be soft and fragile, um, and warm and caring. We've not been given the luxury to do that. That has fallen primarily on the Caucasian woman. She can burst out into tears. She can afford to have the mental breakdown and the emotional collapse. Black woman got 5 babies at home. She ain't got time to be breaking down. She ain't got time to be doing any of those things because without her, who gonna feed her children? Who gonna do this? Who gonna do that? So she's what she has to put all of those emotional things aside. She doesn't have the luxury to be soft and feminine and frail. She
Yeah.
has to do what she has to do to survive. And
Miss
I'll say that in
Lash.
ending.
Miss Lash. She must be froze. Go ahead, Corey. You want to get in on here? Yeah, I give it
Oh,
up for you.
so
Yeah, let me. Yeah, that's what you need. Yeah. Go ahead, Corey.
my thought is about black women being strong. It comes from back historically, right? The way they have to be strong because in the 60s and 70s is when drugs enter the household. They start closing down warehouses, and us black men, we worked with our hands. We worked in
Mm-hmm.
warehouses and things of that nature. So they once they took those type of jobs away and replaced them with drugs from being the war, right? We had the war where people come back from Vietnam and on drugs and things of that nature. So therefore, the woman did have to step up and be the head of the household. But I think those constructs have made it that way. I don't think they really wanted to be that way. I think it kind of got put on their lap that way because we weren't doing what we were supposed to do as a whole in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
grandparents was together for a while, so as we kept going in the 60s, 70s, 80s, men start getting out of the household for whatever reason you want to call. You said Reaganomics, drugs, whatever, but men was no longer being in the household in the
Mm-hmm.
70s, 80s, 90s, so on and so forth. So being strong is what they had to be. But I don't think that's too much as of today. I think that's more of I don't think that's the narrative of us today,
Today, yeah.
as women today. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I think more of a, as my big auntie and all of them, they was more strong for per se than what we have today. Is a different definition of strength for women today than it was back then. To in my opinion, because it black men are very much more prominent in their families now as
Right,
a whole.
right,
As a whole, we're
right,
not. I know we got your inner cities, but as a whole,
right,
we are in households now. You know what
right.
I mean? So it's a little bit different kind of strength. And of course, I don't think they really wanted to be strong. They wanted to. I don't know why we
No,
said being soft is a
surprisingly, Corey,
luxury,
I don't mean to cut you
huh?
off, but surprisingly, she is not the first woman that I talked to that says that. In fact, Cynthia has said that to me before. That We don't want to be strong. We want to be in our femininity. We want to be able to bet. As we got to find a man that's going to allow us to be strong and feminine at the same time. You know what I'm saying? That's that relationship equity that I'll tell everybody that a man's ego is just as fragile as a woman's emotions because we need that relationship equity as well to be who we are. When we like, it's true. Men cry in the dark, just like she was saying, like you were saying, men are more prominent in their families now, and I guarantee you, you just like, when I die, do I leave enough life insurance? Did I did this? Did I did that? Or you can put yourself in that position to keep everything flowing the way you want it to flow. You know what I'm saying? But when it come back to the strong black woman, it's like when do that strong black woman realize, hey, I got a strong black man here too as well. Cynthia, I'm gonna go ahead and you ain't spoke tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and let you say your piece on this topic.
Well, number one, I don't go around here talking about how I'm a strong black woman. Other people do that for me because they see how I work. I don't have to speak on me. Others speak on me about the work I do and how strong I am. I don't have to do it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing about it is it goes back to when, like you said, I want to trust me, I don't want to wear the pants in the house. But the problem with, and I'm gonna say dudes, and I'm not gonna say men because there's a big difference. In
Mm-hmm.
order for me to become vulnerable, in order for me to become that softer side of Cynthia, I
Mm-hmm.
need a man to come to the plate to create that space for me to be vulnerable, to be, to be able to let my guard down because these dudes today are not coming to the table like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's unfortunate because you got to realize I grew up in an era, and just like Miss Tara know, and just like Miss Tanya know, we come from an era where, like I said, our dads were men. Our dads were men. And if you look at a lot of the dudes today, they are in no comparison to how to the men that we were
But
exposed to.
let me interrupt you for a minute. As I tell you all the time, welfare was my dad. I didn't have a dad. I didn't have a male figure in the home. So I don't give men that excuse because if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. In the story. And like G. Wood says, it's a decisive term used for further separation on the black family. I have to agree with him on that. You know what I'm saying? Um, when that happens, when we keep saying strong black women, when like you said, you don't do it. And and most women, black women, gotta understand. Don't throw that up in a man's face, cause it's like when you say that I'm a strong black woman, you telling us you don't need us, and in turn, we need each other. Oh, I'm a strong black woman. I don't need you.
But see, I think you guys, and I think most people, when people hear "we don't need you" or "black, I don't need you," I think that's a twofold thing because I think that is being misinterpreted, maybe for some, but I think that's also being misinterpreted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my thing is this: if I tell you, because like I said, when we think about needs, right? And for me, a need is that okay, need I gotta eat, I gotta breathe, right? Those are my needs. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, I rather want you than need you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I think a lot of guys get defensive when they hear that term. And that's the thing that has to be quit pushed in the narrative that just when we say when people say that because I don't even get into all that but when
Mm-hmm.
you hear people say that to look think so maybe like again some of these women come out here and come across like hey I I got the tree and the two shrubs on the side, right? And they really do mean that. But you also have to ask that next question. Well, what is it that you do need? What do you mean by when you say you don't need me? You don't need a man. And that's the whole problem with a lot of this is the communication because we don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to ask questions. We don't know how to get to the bottom of things. We hear the surface of it and we run with it. Because I'm gonna tell you now, and like I said, I don't go around here bragging that I don't need a man. Because guess what? I pay my own bills.
Mm-hmm.
I work. If my
Mm-hmm.
car breaks down, you best to believe I know how to take and go get it fixed. And if not a lot of it, I know how to do myself because my father raised me to be self-sufficient, right?
You from the
And so
patch.
that's a big huh.
You from the
Can
patch.
I chime in for a minute?
Yes, you can,
Go
Corey.
ahead.
So being so in the head in a household construct, a normal household construct is only one head of the household. There's only one, and that person is normally the strong person of the household.
Yep.
And so when you say you don't need a man because I pay my bills, so when you say you don't need a man because you do all these things for yourself, those things that you're doing for yourself is only what you need a man for. You see what I'm saying? So if I can't
But
pay the bills, I'm not a man. If I
but
can't do
that's what
this,
I'm
I'm
saying
not a
because
man.
that's what. But so let me interrupt. So when men hear that statement, that's what they think it relates to. And my
Because
whole thing about it is that you know what? For me and a man, it's about companionship. It's about partnership. It's about growth. It's about maturity. It's not about, like I said again, in most of my relationships, I've always been the money maker. I've always made the most money. But
okay,
that has never gone to my head to where I look down on that person. And so I think that's where it goes to where, again, I'm not looking for someone to pay my bills. Somebody come along and pay my bills, then okay, I'm for it. I'm not trying to be the man of the house. I don't want to wear the
I,
pants.
I I get that, but this is the problem. First, let me read the statement. Damien Huckabee says it's a turnoff when a woman is more masculine than I am. Bro, you're right. You are very right. Also, this is because every time a woman says she don't need a man, I can pay my own bills. You reduced us to money. You reduce us to
Exactly.
money. However,
But
Material.
but whatever you do,
but Tag, but
that
guess
goes
what?
back to that
You
strong
guys
black
have
woman.
already reduced us when y'all sit up here and say we only want you for your money. We go diggers. We only dating because we want a free meal. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's where a lot of that has probably come from because that is the narrative that these dudes are pushing.
that's true. Go ahead, Miss Lash. You
You,
ain't spoke all night. I'm sorry, Cynthia. I got to cut you. I got to get some other people in here.
Can y'all hear me?
We can.
yes, ma'am.
All right. I have a question for the men, and this I hope it come out the way I'm wanting to ask it. When it comes to women being a strong black woman, why is the black man's reputation so bad that we have to be seen as strong black women?
Ooh, ooh. You want to go first, Corey? You want me to go first?
So the question is, why is our reputation that bad? Is that the
Yes, why is
question?
the reputation of the black man so bad that black women are seen or have to wear that title as that's a strong black woman?
I I don't think our reputation is bad as a whole. I don't think it's bad at all. I think women
Individually,
in our
no.
race, our
As a
women has to
whole,
find
No,
a
yes.
place. In
no.
our race, our women is the only one that has to find a place in the household. White women come in, Puerto Rican women come in, they know their spot. Black women come in, they have to find their
Find a
spot. And
place.
sometimes, again, I didn't grow up with my father. My mother didn't grow up with her father. So I was raised by a woman, right? So I can't speak
Hmm.
on being a father at a young age. I didn't know how to be one. I know Bill
Right,
Cosby, Carl Weathers,
right,
you know what I mean? Uncle
right.
Phil.
Hold up.
Those are my
I need
fathers. You
you.
see what I'm
I
saying?
need you
So
to explain something for me, because I know I'm probably not understanding you right. When you say black women got to come in and find their role, white women know their role. Puerto Rican, what do you mean we got to know our role?
by
Are
saying
you
I'm
saying
a
we got to
strong
know our
black woman,
place?
that's
No,
what I'm saying. That is saying
because
I'm a strong black woman.
Corey, let me
That's what I'm
interject.
saying.
Because here's why.
That's a
Here's
role.
here.
To be strong is a role.
Corey, let me interject. Here it is. Money doesn't determine head of household. God,
No, it
man,
doesn't.
woman, child. That is what is missing. And that is from G Woods. That is exactly what is missing. So when you come in and you say, I'm a strong black woman, I don't need it doesn't matter how strong you are if you need me or not. That is not your place.
But that's not my question.
But okay, your question was why the reputation of black men are so bad for black women to be so strong, right? Who gave us that
Right.
reputation? Who gave us that reputation? Because we surely ain't gonna give ourselves that reputation. One and two. Let me also explain something to you. This gonna go back to what Tara was saying. Something. It's gonna go back to the psychological effects that it had when they was taking as Corey said, when the welfare system came about, and black women had to make us look bad to get the welfare check, to get a place to stay, to move us out the house, all of that. Black men didn't. So us being ignorant and dumb, and a lot of it has to do. I'm not gonna disagree with y'all women about the men. A lot of men out here is fucked. I'm not gonna disagree with that. Back before our time, me and Corey the same age. before our time, the men was bad. I'm not gonna disagree with that. But what I'm trying to
All
say,
all my
yeah,
uncles and cousins are strung out.
uh,
Men
uh,
older than me.
yeah, men
I
older than me,
had
all
women
of
to
them,
look up to. That was
right?
it. So
So
I understand.
So
that's why you
again,
had to
I
be
say,
strong. That's why you
so
had to be
again,
strong.
I'm asking, but again, I'm asking, okay, you telling me about the older generation. I get that. We talked about that once before about, how older men, they done they're supposed to do as far as their family, to grow the family. So why in today's time, the young black men that is not doing what they're supposed to do, why is their reputation so bad? And I don't know who gave you the title. I didn't give you the title. And again, that's why I say individually, maybe your reputation is not that, but as a whole, when they see you as a black man, they don't know William individually.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know you. I forgot your name individually. They
I
see you
forgot
as
your
a
name.
black man. So you are lumped together with all black men. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, like me, I'm lumped in with all strong black women. They don't know Tanya. They don't know Tara. They don't know us individually. They don't know we weak or they don't know we weak or strong.
Right, I agree with that, and that's why I'm saying why is the black woman the only race of women that got to prove that she's a strong black woman? Why can't she just
I
be
think because the
my
reputation of the black man
woman?
is so bad.
And I'm
I think that's why.
G
It's
Woods
because
on
the
fire.
reputation of the black man is not what it should be.
Hold that thought, Miss Lash. I don't think that's true, but G Woods on fire tonight is not white people. It's not white people create the narrative of a strong black woman. And that is true because when I was doing research on this subject, strong black woman, the first thing it says, the scholars says this. Who are these damn scholars? These scholars can say that
Don't look
my
like
my
us.
my beautiful black women are this and that. So that means these
Oh,
scholars have created this narrative of this black woman that she must be strong, that she has a conflict of her femininity and her strength. And you see it all
So
the time
it's
when you
it's
watch
a
these southern
divide and
movies.
conquer. If
Bingo.
someone's strong, the other one must be
Must be
weak.
weak.
Must be weak. Inferred weak. Not saying
Yes.
you really are,
Not
but it
inferred weak.
inferred that you're weak. So that's what the narrative is: strong black woman, weak black man.
That
Narrative.
the narrative.
Narrative.
Now
The
I
Narrative.
don't, and
narrative.
William, you heard me say before, I don't have a problem with being the weaker sex. I know my role. I am not the head.
Yeah, but
When
we
if
we
I'm in a
talking on the whole.
relationship,
Yeah,
a
we
man,
talking on the whole.
yeah, a man is the head. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure in being who I am today, being quote unquote a strong black woman, I'm gonna say independent. I'm this way out of necessity, not by choice.
mhm.
Yeah,
I was put in this role.
that's what Cynthia was
I
saying.
didn't start out in this role.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was not the role I thought I was going to be in, but this is the role that I've had to
Oh,
be in. So I became who I am out of necessity, not out of choice.
I understand. Go ahead, Tara. Go ahead. Speak your mind, sweetheart.
I've been kind of listening to what people have been saying and like making a couple of notes, and I just want to reinforce that whole concept that Cynthia introduced in that, like, if the environment were conducive, if we had a safe place to relinquish some of that perceived strength, we could do that. But and then going to Corey's point, I just want to talk about how not only is it, the dominant society, but it's also, the media. It's also all of these things that reinforce that trope. And I'm going to give you an example. My supervisor comes to me, and this is hypothetical, but we all can relate to this scenario that I'm about to give. And the supervisor asks us to do or pile yet another task on us. We'll take it for a while, and eventually we're gonna be like, look, we're gonna say, look, supervisor, this is too much. I'm having to work through my lunch. I'm doing this and that. This is not fair, and we're gonna express it with that passion and that desire. Now that supervisor is gonna turn around and be like, offended and resentful, and I'm being belligerent and all this kind of stuff because I don't want to
mhm.
follow direction. When really what I'm asking for is help. I'm saying I'm working to my capacity, and what you're doing is too much. I can't sustain it. Now, when the dominant society, when Becky has the same scenario, when more work comes on her, instead of her saying, hey, this is too much, this is crazy, can't nobody do all of this, I need some help here, let's break this up amongst the team, Becky gonna just start crying. Oh my God, this is so. Becky gonna be at her desk having a breakdown, crying. She gonna be in the bathroom, snot falling out her nose. the supervisor's gonna immediately rush over to her. Oh my God, Becky, Becky? Oh my God, what's wrong? It's just so much work. I just can't do this work, crying. And then he gonna end up, oh, don't worry, we're gonna give it to Tara. So see, in that environment, we both were saying the same thing. Tara and Becky were both saying this work is too much to do. I can't sustain this. I'm at my breaking point. But because I voiced my opinion and I spoke up for myself with a stern voice and a straight back, I'm belligerent. I'm angry.
And got
I'm
an
You
very
right.
attitude.
You
strong
right.
and got
You
an
right.
attitude. But Becky
You
about to
right.
have a breakdown. So in that environment, she had space to be all fragile and weak and all of that, and I did not.
Hey, totally understand. Hey, I've been in many
And so,
situations where I that's scenario you just ran down. That exactly happened to me. But unfortunately, I had a good supervisor that understood. I stood strong, but my supervisor understood what I was saying. And my supervisor was a white female. She understood. She didn't give me no flag, no nothing. She was like, "Boom, I got you, Lou," and she helped me out. So that can work
so
both ways. Go ahead.
it can work. So, in the constraint of what you were saying, it's just if your supervisor is the dominant, if he's the dominant, let's say dominant, right? Do he know how to deal with, or has he ever dealt with a black woman before? Right? Because if it was a black man as your supervisor and you came there saying that, I'm sure he understood what you were saying without saying it. By saying I need help, but you said it a different way, he understood. Oh, she just needs some help. She tripping. Let me get her some help because he knows how to handle or deal with his people.
His
The
people.
white guy or
Right.
dominant race guy, he may not know how to deal with black people. So all he can know is what he see on TV, he on the radio, see on the street. He don't know how to deal with black women, but he
Hashtag
know how to
change the
deal with his
narrative.
own. That definitely plays a part in when even in the military we dealt with that as young sailors and having white supervisors not knowing how to deal with young black men trying to say we need help, right? And then your white counterpart guy says he need help, and everybody helps out. You see, so it plays a part with who you are dealing with as a supervisor and
Mm-hmm.
how they know to deal with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that
I
does
mean
plays a part.
that
So
that. Go ahead.
so it's so it sounds like to me the real question here should be, why are black women the most misunderstood?
I can relate to that. I can relate to that. Cause
Definitely,
I mean
I definitely believe they're
I can
misunderstood.
relate to
I
that.
definitely believe that.
I definitely can. That would be a better question. Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. Cause I mean, it's just like Tara just explained it so eloquently. Just like, hey, I'm saying the same thing that Becky's saying. I'm just saying it a different
Hmm.
way. You know what I'm saying? And like when I was in the military, a lot of people thought I was angry, but I never was angry. I was just always
Hmm.
to the point. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't have time for bullshit. And like that, going back to that supervisor, that's what she told everybody. No, he know his shit and he just to the point. He not for no bullshit. But I was labeled angry. I never was angry.
But I do think black women are misunderstood
Yeah.
because of the constraints of how the history of black women in society, the history of black men in society, it all plays a part because they have to wear two hats. And how can you understand someone with two different hats on?
You can't.
Because sometimes you got to be that strong, and then sometimes you got to be weak, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it crosses over. So it's very misunderstood sometimes.
All right, let me pay some bills. This is to my sponsor, Matty Lee's Southern Smokehouse. Woods, I see your comment. If you want to call in 480-442-7301. Call in and let your voice be heard, Woods. You always got something to say. Holla at your boy. Yeah, and Latanya Porterfield. I'm gonna give Memphis Cuts a shout out, but you know you supposed to be on the show tonight. So don't be playing games, y'all. I told you I was gonna talk about you. Hey, everybody know who I am. I tell you, I would tell you. But yeah,
Come on.
thanks for that. Tara, with that being said, what do you think now when you realize it's not just you, but you have to understand that other people don't understand you. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
sometimes we do come off real abrasive. as black people. That's just black people. That's just who we are sometimes.
Right, right. So it takes a certain amount of emotional intelligence, right? And so I've been in some
Mhm.
spaces and places, and since I've had, my tenure in corporate America, which is pretty much where I gained this skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Mount View High School prepared me with the book knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I tell everybody those are some of the best teachers that it was to be had ever, and I stand on that. However, but those soft social skills, that nuance that you need to be able to matriculate in that type of corporate environment, to know how to
Mm-hmm.
kind of finesse and bend and shape yourself, realizing that you don't necessarily need to keep it real. I think
Hold
we
on.
always
Hello.
trying to.
You
Yo, can y'all hear G Woods?
Yeah.
can y'all hear?
Yeah, they can hear you, G
Mhm.
Woods.
Shit, what up, though?
What up? Hey man, you
I
know my
like y'all
rule.
subject tonight. I like y'all subject tonight.
You like our subject
We-
tonight? What you got to say about
Yeah,
it?
I'm gonna say this, man. Y'all can say what y'all want to. Y'all probably gonna get mad than a motherfucker when I finish. But strong black woman, white people created that shit. They taught you you need to be strong, and all that do is pit you against your old man every time you go in. Cause in the back of your mind, all you ever think, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong. You ain't willing to listen to shit that motherfucker got to say when you go in the house. These white folks that sit here and broke it down to y'all systematically. You can do bad all by yourself. You are strong. They ain't never told no other race that. Black people bid on it. They took it wholeheartedly. They don't look at a white man. They won't look at no white man. They won't go to work and say, I'm a strong black woman. They'll tell us though.
Woods, I can't argue with you on that, man. I'm not even
They'll
mad
tell
about that.
us. I'm talking about they'll bust in and give us the
I can
bid.
argue with you.
But
I
everywhere
can
y'all
argue
need
with
to
you.
be
Hold on,
strong
hey
at,
Woods, you
I
got to
don't believe y'all say
Woods.
nothing to them.
You got a rebuttal. Go ahead, Tanya.
No, I don't agree with you because didn't no white person teach me how to be strong. Life taught me that I had to be strong.
Who taught you in
Life
life?
taught me
White
that
people
I had
taught
to
us
raise.
everything.
Listen,
Black people
life
didn't
taught
teach you
me that
nothing.
I had
Woods,
to
let her
raise
finish, man.
not.
White
Life
life
taught
taught
me
us.
that I had to raise not three black boys, but three young black men. And I had to do it in the right way so that when they become grown, they will be respected as black men.
So
That's
let
what
me ask you
life
this:
taught
what's
me,
the right
not no
way?
white
Who
person.
taught you what the right way was?
My mom and my daddy taught me
Besides,
the
Mhm.
we
right
all
way.
we all went to the same schools. White people taught us. Don't
No,
diminish
no.
that.
Who taught
We
me? My
all
mom
went
and
to the
daddy
same.
taught me. Like
Nah,
like
you
Charles
Mountain View
said,
High
the
School,
school gave me
Elmore
my
High School.
education.
They teach you
The
everything.
school
We
gave
don't
me
go on the
education.
basis.
My mom and my daddy gave me my value and my morals.
So hold on,
You
hold on,
didn't.
hold
Didn't
on,
no
hold on,
white
hold
person
on.
give
You
me
ain't.
that.
Woods,
You ain't
Woods.
never found a job in life based on what your mom and daddy taught you. You find jobs in
Yes, I
employment
have.
based on what they teach you. These people, and that's whose rules you follow. I ain't the only one. I mean, I ain't saying it just you. We all was taught by white people. Can't nobody deny that. That's who taught you everything since day one.
No, white
Woods,
people didn't
I
teach
think
me
literally,
what he's
hey,
everything.
trying to
White
say is
people.
they
they
taught us the
own the
system.
they own the game. They own the game, so you have to
Whatever.
learn the game and get in
Thank
with
you.
like that. That's what he's trying to
Thank
say.
you.
That's what you're
They
trying to
taught
say.
everybody. They
Yes,
taught
I do,
everybody.
and I do agree with that. You once, okay, Tara works in the financial sections, and everything. Once she learned the game, she knew how to operate. And what he is saying, white people, they own the game. You can't deny that. That's why when I write that post America on Facebook, I used to call it Dear White People, but I changed to America because America owns the game. And
And usually any speaking point we got come from them.
right,
I'm telling you, man, it ain't nothing that we come up with that we all want to be. Any speaking point that they give black people that's in the main media to push, it came from them. We ain't come up with it. Nobody from our race came up with it or nothing. I'm telling you, everything they give it to us.
but that's why I like hashtag change the narrative. That's why I'm doing this show. So we change the narrative. So we
Can't
say
change a narrative that you don't control.
right, but you can control your narrative once you start speaking it. And when you
Many
start
people
living
have
it.
tried to change the narrative way more power than us. That shit not gonna change.
Hey, it gotta start from somewhere, Woods. Hey,
It won't start at this low of a level.
well, we'll see.
I'm sorry, y'all. It won't.
We'll
It
see.
just won't.
I still have faith. I'm still a fighter. I don't give up.
What you got
So
faith
Woods, if
in?
we
If you
don't
got,
have any, if we don't have any recourse, and
we
we're
have no
we're
recourse.
damned to be into the system, then what is our recourse? What
So
do we
what I
do?
think he's
It
getting
ain't
at is saying we don't
okay.
have any black leaders. When we get one, they kill them. If they
Y'all
don't
not
kill
gonna
them,
have no black
they
leaders for
run.
another
They scrutinize
22
their
years.
name. They run them through the mud. So we
You
don't
can't
have
have them.
anything at the top. Anyone
We
at
ain't.
the
We
time.
have no leaders. You are correct. We have no leaders.
None.
We
They
can't
kill
have no
them or
leaders.
they
Black people ain't never had none.
demonize them.
But
No, because it wasn't set up for you to be
So
one. See what y'all don't
okay,
understand,
but so
man.
who is the leader? Who is the Chinese leader? Who is the Jewish leader? Who is the Spanish leader? Black
The
people are the only
Chinese
ones
leader
who
is
So
need
they
a
have
leader.
first of all,
Where's their
the
leader?
Jewish leaders have a country. The Jews alone,
yeah,
The
that's
Jewish
right?
true.
people got
Alone.
the world. The Jewish
China
people
got a
got the
whole
world.
country.
The Jewish
China got a
people
whole
got the
country. They
world.
got a banking system. China got their own banking system. So it's a little
But
different.
see,
We don't have
my
any of
answer,
that.
my
We don't
answer
have
to that
any
is
of that.
different. Because really,
They got a
the
law
Most High God
passed.
say we can't have none of that. That's why
They
it
got a
is
law passed. You
different.
can't hurt a Chinese
Why
person.
people
They
don't
gonna get
have
you
it.
on a hate crime that quick.
And my cousin,
Okay,
You
so I'll
can't
go
get
back
that
to
law.
my original question then. So then what is our recourse?
Your recourse, is to learn the commandments. That's why everybody off, man. We don't know what our rules are really. If y'all want my honest answer, I mean, y'all know I'm
I mean,
short of
what
a word on.
commandments?
That's my
Like
honest answer.
you
It's 613 commandments in the Bible. They told you it was 10, right? They tell you it's 10,
well,
and
I
that's
don't
all they give.
subscribe to the
They
Bible, so
give you.
that doesn't relate to me. I don't subscribe to
Well,
that.
maybe that's why your
Right.
life would just be fucked up. I mean, y'all can say you don't
See that
subscribe
My
to it,
life
but
my
that's how
life
the
is
world
great
that's
go.
not
though.
Hold up.
that's a
that's
whole
not the
different
way to
topic
go
for
though.
another day. Hey, Woods,
No,
that's
it
a
ain't.
whole.
No,
Yeah,
it
it
ain't.
is.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it is not a whole different topic. Why they teach all this different? It's not a different topic. It's not a different topic at all. Because the same people that rule you and tell you what to do, they read it generously. They know how to make you mess up every single day. People be running around thinking like, yeah, we good, we doing it right. They teach you wrong. So once you learn wrong and make it a habit, habits are hard to break. No matter how late in life you find out what you was doing right or wrong. It's the same thing.
But
That's what set us here. That they sit us here and give us talking points just like we doing right now to pit us against each other. Like we argue, we'll never be on the same accord for some reason. I mean, we just never will because we ain't supposed to be. See, they keep us bickering in these little conversations like this. Ain't none of this gonna help
But
to
this is
turn
not
strong black
bickering.
woman
This
and
is
won't
a
go away.
forum.
yeah,
This is
Well,
not an
a
argument.
forum,
wasn't
look, a
nobody
forum.
bickering.
Okay,
Oh,
Yeah,
listen.
it
this is
wasn't
a
nobody
This is
big.
conversation.
intelligent.
Listen,
This
listen.
is intelligent black
Bickering,
thought
an
on display.
intelligent conversation, a heated conversation, and debate. They all the same thing, y'all.
Okay,
They
Mr.
all
Woods,
the
I'm
No.
same
about to
On
let
that
you
thing.
go,
on
and
that
we're
we
gonna
disagree.
continue to we're gonna continue
So
talking
you
about
mean
this
to tell
topic.
me if you back
Hey,
and forth with somebody in a
Woods,
conversation, it's the same thing as being in an argument. You say your point, he say their point. It's the same as bickering. It's the same as an intelligent conversation. There's no difference in them.
want me to tell
The
you the
only
difference?
difference would
Want me
be
to
is
tell
the
you the
words
difference?
you
I'm
use.
gonna tell you the difference, Woods. You starting to piss me off, one, and two. The
I
difference
can't help
is
that. If
the
it's pissing
difference
you off, it's
is
not a
the
difference.
difference
Because you
is
want it
it's
to
an
be a
intelligent
difference.
conversation,
I bet
and
you y'all look
people.
up. I bet you if you break out a thesaurus,
Okay, y'all, we can continue our conversation. Let's go.
Can I comment on the comment about who the leaders are on? To me, I'm just a person, not on no large scale, but I do have a group of children that look up to me. So to me, who knows who I have no idea what these kids gonna be when they grow up. No idea. But how do I know what I'm doing with them on this small scale? I'm not propelling them to a large scale. So they might be the future black leader. Who knows? Just by what I'm doing on this small scale here in like a very small school district.
Yeah,
So in essence, we are the
Agree.
leaders.
but this is
Right.
what I say. Like the things we're talking about. Black female, strong being the only race of people being a strong black woman. You know, after like I have changed my viewpoints on some of the things that I have thought about and said talking to women like y'all or talking to men like Corey. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know it all. And like Woods was saying, he is right. White people has taught us everything. The system they taught. Look, black people don't understand. If you survive in America, you have beat two systems. One, if you grew up poor, you beat poverty. If you and then if you successful in America, you beat the American system. That's two systems that's designed to destroy you from the beginning of life that you don't even think about subconsciously. And that's what Woods is trying to say. The white people taught us everything because it's the system. You got to learn how to play within the system. Nothing you going to do, nothing in life. If you ever try to step outside the system, it's going to work. Only way it's
End
going
of
to
the
work.
day, you got to report to a white guy.
Yeah.
End of
No,
the day. You got to
The
report to a white guy. I don't care what you do in life. Period.
Period.
You're gonna report to one. End of the day, you got to report to one. Be it your taxes, be whatever. You're gonna report to one. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Regardless, because they run the game.
Yeah.
They run the
So
game. We don't have any
so
black
I
leaders.
just
I don't
I
even.
just
I don't want my kids to be a black leader because they kill them. They kill them. They demonize them, and they put other black people against them.
Go ahead, Tara.
I don't know. They kill them. They had a leader in the 70s and the 80s. That was it. That was the last time we had somebody we could push a belly button and say that's our black leader.
Go ahead, Tara.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, so some of the things, had credence, but like, kind of all over the place. First of all, there's always power in intelligent black thought. There's always power in intelligent discourse, and that's what's happening here. And
Right.
what distinguishes bickering and arguing from debate and conversation is the intent and the absence of malice, and we don't
The
have any of it.
intelligence of it.
We're just intelligent, well-rounded, beautiful black people. We're just kicking it. So I just want to say, like, yeah. So I do acknowledge and understand, like, we are in a system. Brother Neely Fuller talks about the system, right? He talks about the, as perceived white supremacy being a global system and the 9 areas of people activity. I was trying to remember them all. I was writing them down: entertainment, education, labor, politics,
Corey reaching
religion,
for the
sex,
book.
and war. And I left one out. Oh, you got it, Brother Neely. Brother Neely Fuller talks about, the compensatory code. So you have to understand that we do operate in that framework. So yes, they did furnish our education, right, as a part of their system, but that does not mean that we are bound by the constraints of that education. You got to know you in that particular matrix, but you have to know how, you got to know who's controlling it, and you have to know how
Right.
to elevate and work within it to be successful.
And Tara, that's the key right there. You have to know that you're in it. If you don't realize that you're in it, it's
Yep.
gonna swallow you whole. It's what it is, and that's what made me think about this topic. It was like they in the same system I am. My black women are in the same system. Why they got to be so strong? Why can't I be strong with them? You know what I'm saying? Why they got to be treated like this, or why they got to identify as being a strong black woman? Why can't they just be identified as a strong woman? Why can't it be the natural order of things with God over me holding the umbrella, protecting my wife and my kids? That's the way it's supposed to be. Why do my black
But
women
what
gotta
in
be so-
those scenarios? But what about in the scenarios when that isn't the paradigm? What about in the scenario when it's two sisters and they're raising their children, or a mother and her daughter raising the daughter's children, or an auntie? What about when the male presence isn't there? Then what?
That's on a situation,
For whatever reason.
a case by case basis. For whatever reason, it's not right because it's not the natural order of things. I wouldn't want that for anybody. I know what it's like coming up in a single parent home, and you know what I'm saying. People don't realize how rough that shit is. It's like you see and you do a lot of shit that's like before you need to do and see.
I didn't realize till I joined the Navy that none of my friends back home had their dad, and it was normal. Like it was normal for you
Right.
not to have your dad. From where I'm from
Right.
Jersey. It was normal for you if you got your dad, you doing your thing,
Dang.
and we probably don't like you because you probably think you better than us. Because like none of my friends had their dad. I'm talking about like none of them. I was thinking like nobody had their dad. Nobody.
I grew up in the
None of them
projects,
had
and
their dad.
nobody had their dad in the projects. I grew up in Keystone,
Nobody.
Cinder Bottom. Nobody. So it's like when
You
I
know
hear
what-
y'all
you know
talk
what's
about y'all's
crazy?
dad.
You know what's crazy for me? It was the opposite. I never realized in my group of friends I was the only one that had a mom and a daddy under the same roof. A lot of my friends didn't have that, and I thought it was normal. I mean, I was grown before I realized they didn't have their daddies under the same roof. They knew who their daddy was, but he didn't live with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So
that's
that
why I
plays-
say for
and
so
that-
long the black
that
woman
plays
had to
a
be
part in
strong.
that strong black woman. That narrative of the
That
strong
narrative
black
changed
woman.
the narrative. Cynthia, you've been quiet lately. You know, I know you got something to say.
Oh, look, Grady just threw me way over to the. I don't know where I'm at right now. I don't know what just happened. I'm still trying to come over, get over that piece.
Yeah, he took it left.
Yeah, I'm still over here stuck. I'm like, wait a minute.
Peace to the brother. He's passionate. Peace to him. Peace to him.
Hey, I love Grady. Grady is on a mission that I don't understand, and I let them be. But we have some of this. So me and Grady went to school together since Head Start. That's how long we've been together, and good guy. Know his family and all of that. I mean, I ain't got nothing bad to say about him.
But you know, but that's the thing about it is you don't have to understand what his journey is. That's his
Yeah,
journey.
that's his
That's
journey.
his journey.
That's his journey. I let it be.
That's
So,
it.
hey, but
Long as
switching
he
gears,
understands it.
yeah, switching gears, and this was the topic that I just come up with. Do women really want to know the truth when they ask a man the questions? Like the easiest question to pick on is like, do I look fat in this dress? 9 times out of 10, we're gonna say no. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want what's coming between behind it. But
Let me tell you something. You gonna tell me the truth because if I look fat in that dress and I walk out that house and knowing that you know I look fat in that dress, you gonna get popped in your mouth as soon as we get back home. I'm gonna swell your lips up. But let me tell you something. But let me switch the narrative on this one. Let me switch the narrative because, like I said, you ain't gonna have me out here looking like any old thing. I'm supposed to be looking good on your side. I am a reflection of
You gonna
you,
put your
bruh.
hands on me?
that was just a question. Sid. Don't hey,
I'm
don't
just saying,
don't.
I'm a reflection of you, and you're supposed to be a reflection of me. So if I look fat in that dress, you look fat in that suit. That's how we gonna get down. But wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to hear the truth, but I think you guys don't want to tell us the truth because you're afraid of the truth we're gonna come back at with you. Y'all afraid of your own truth sometimes. Tell me
I
the
think
truth. Don't lie to me.
no one really wants the truth. Because if
No,
you
let me
tell
tell you
people,
I
something.
don't
because
disagree. I
I'd
agree.
rather you
you know
hurt
what
me
I'm
with
talking
the
about.
truth than comfort me with a lie.
I'm
Because
with
I'm gonna
Cynthia on that.
respect you because you was
You telling me
honest
the
with
truth.
me.
I'd rather you
Well,
tell me the
just
truth.
because we didn't tell you the truth don't mean we lied.
Right.
That doesn't
Yeah,
that that,
that
that
that is
don't that don't
it,
go
it,
together.
that if you do not tell me
What?
the truth, it is a lie. It is a
Okay.
lie.
No,
It's a
no,
lie.
What?
What's the
not at all.
definition of a lie?
The opposite of the
What's the
truth.
definition?
Omission
Not
of
telling you
truth.
the
Exactly.
truth.
Go ahead, Tara.
Withholding
So
information is not
let's say,
telling the truth.
so if you say
No,
nothing, is that a lie?
So let me run it down for you. Let me give you the scenario, and this is what I mean, because the dress and that was an easy one. So just say Cynthia, your man, he come in and y'all done talked about something that you didn't want him to do, but he went and done it anyway. Just say you ain't want your man to smoke him a blunt today, but he wanted to smoke a blunt and he went to smoke a blunt. Now you know he lied to you because he smoked the blunt because you smell it all on him. But he don't. He most people lie because they don't want to. They don't want to see the disappointment. They know the disappointment is going to cause. That's why people lie. But
well,
with
and that scenario was a bad scenario, okay? Because see,
it
he
probably was.
lied.
Um,
He
yeah,
lied to cover his ass. That
yeah.
was what still bad, for example. He lied to cover his ass. Do you
You
want to
right.
go there with me?
No,
Do you want to
no,
go there with me?
you right. You right. You right. You right. But what I'm trying to say is like when men tell the truth or whatever the situation is, like why we did this, why that, or why we said this, women don't really want to hear it. Cause
Mm,
most time,
disagree.
Then they won't believe it either. You
yeah,
won't
and they
believe the
don't
truth
believe it.
sometimes.
I'm telling you,
You
most
won't
women
believe
don't
it.
want
I
to hear
think
it.
that
Here's my
can I
thing.
chime in?
I
Yo, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, this part for fun now. This is where
I'm
everybody can
sorry,
laugh.
Tanya. Tanya, you go ahead. I don't want to talk over you. Go ahead, Tanya. Go ahead,
No,
sis.
no, you fine. Go ahead.
I was thinking about this because I jotted down when you said it, Will,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I believe that women want the truth, but here's the thing: a woman wants their feelings considered by who they love first. So
They want their truth.
going back to Cynthia's thing, like do I look fat in the dress or do I look nice in the dress? You know, she wants you to walk over to her, collar her, kiss her, and be like, "Babe, you know you look beautiful in anything, but I think maybe the
No, you
purple
can't.
one
You
for
you
this is
can't. You
gonna be
can't get
better."
it
So
that
that
way.
way, but I'm just answering the question though.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
A
yeah, yeah,
woman
yeah.
wants the truth, but she wants you to placate her emotions first because a lot of us are largely emotional creatures first. So we want those emotions
Mhm.
placated first. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just
Can I?
saying that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Think about
Okay.
it. No, it's not right.
Yes,
Because
sir.
this is why it's not right. Because a man's ego is just as fragile as a woman's emotions, and y'all don't placate our emotions. Y'all don't consider our emotions. Y'all don't.
Because you're supposed to be a man.
but you supposed to be a man. Yeah, say it again. Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me out. Cause Cynthia was tearing my ass up.
Well,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
just
but I mean, but
So you
society
want
has
the
taught us
truth,
that,
but
right?
you
That
want the
the
truth
man
in a
is supposed
certain
to be,
construct. That's what I'm hearing. You want the
Yeah.
well,
truth,
yeah,
but in a
because
certain
yes.
you
construct.
know, well, it's the same as men. Because if we come across to men, like you say, when you talk about your emotions, if we talk to a man in a certain way, it could come across as coddling. And that's the last thing we want to do is coddle our black men. And so it goes
Who
back
said
to
that?
what Miss Farrell said was it's all
I don't want
about
to be caught.
we all come from an emotional place, whether you man or woman. And it's all about how you say it, how we say it. Like I said, don't say it to insult me, right? Don't say it to coddle either. And that's where we have to find and again, like I said, and Tara brought up emotional intelligence, and we also have to be able to communicate that. And a lot of
Hmm.
people don't even know what emotional intelligence is, and that's a huge problem.
That is a huge problem.
But if you want our truth, you can't put your constraints on the truth for
Truth,
us.
us.
That's all I'm saying. The truth is our truth. If I want to, do I look nice in this dress? Nah, you don't.
Don't.
You see what I'm saying? That's my truth to you. Now, if I say, well, do I look nice in this suit? Yeah, you may, but you might want to put the black one on, baby. That's your
It's
truth.
truth.
You see what I'm saying? So you can't make me say your truth if I'm gonna give you my truth. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree
I
with that.
understand, that's all I'm saying. You can't put my truth in a constraint that you're giving me. That's not right.
Cause it's not, if I gotta
Well,
put
see,
my truth
okay,
in
so
your
now wait a minute.
constraint,
We
then
don't
it's
went
not
from
your consumption.
sugarcoating. Wait, I thought we were talking about truth lies. Now y'all don't went to sugarcoating. That's see, no, no,
No,
no,
you
no,
went
no,
to
no,
sugarcoat because you gave us that example.
Yeah.
no. But I'm just saying. Like I said, now you went from because first you was talking about a lie being a lie, or if we don't tell you, it's not a lie. Now you're over here talking about sugarcoating. What subject are we on? Are we going to sugarcoat
Do
it,
That's
women
the
or
way
are we
do,
it.
going to
do
tell the
That's the
women
way
truth?
really
they
want the truth?
mutated to
It's
when
just
they
like
said they want the truth, but it mutated to that, right?
even Tara said the women
Let
want
me
the
tell you
truth, but
something.
we
I'm gonna take it the same way I gave it. If I could give it to you raw, I expect it raw. That's just how I am. I don't want nobody sugarcoating shit for me. If it look like shit, smell like shit, it's shit.
hey Jeffrey Anthony
You
just
put
said we
sugar
gotta
on
learn to
shit,
talk
it's
without
still shit.
emotions.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be sugarcoating nothing for me.
Tara, Cynthia, you own one tonight. I'm gonna give it to you.
I'm home. See, this is what happened when you change the topic, right? You change the topic on me, Lewis. You change the topic.
It's okay. I
My other
love it because it's raw.
my other topic I was more passionate about. I would have been a lot calmer. You would have got the softer side of Cynthia.
No, don't need that. Don't want that. Uh-uh.
You want the
Here
absolute,
is
Cynthia. That's all we want.
here
Absolute.
Go ahead, Miss Lash.
here is my take on telling me the truth. I don't want you to lie to me, but I choose to be happy. When it comes to the scenario of the dress, I knew I was fat before I put that dress on. I don't need you to tell me I'm fat in it. I'm gonna go grab
Don't
my
ask.
my, 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 my black dress pants, a black shirt, something to make me look slim, something I feel
And wait a minute,
confident in.
wait a minute. Let me tell you. And me, I'm gonna go grab that spank. We gonna fix that problem.
Right, right. I already know I'm fat. I don't need you to tell me I'm fat in this dress. I'm gonna put some pants on, something I can make myself look good. Put me on a pair of high heels, and I'm gonna rock with that. So we gotta be careful to me in the questions we ask. I'm not gonna ask you a question I already know the answer to that I may or may not want to hear that truth. So if I'm
Hmm.
not ready for that truth, I'm not gonna ask you that question because I choose to be happy. And why
Yep,
would,
like
like a friend of mine, why would I choose anything else for myself other than happiness? So don't lie to me, but I'm not going to put you in a position to lie to me or to hurt.
Hey, she made a good point. She just fell off.
yeah,
Yeah. You said,
Yeah, but she
yeah.
made
I
a
want the
good point
truth, but I like happiness too.
too. Yeah, I want the truth, but I like happiness too. Terry, you got anything to say? We just having fun
Well,
now.
yeah, I just, just thinking about it even beyond like the whole, just was taking that example that Cynthia gave. Like, when I think about the dynamic, in my romantic relationship, especially like the relationship that I'm in now is different than anything I've ever been in, where it started from that whole position of like that upfront, unbleached, unvarnished type of honesty. So that's
Hmm.
that's the way it all started. So it's cultivated in that, right? So I'm conditioned, and I know, like, okay, if I ask this question, I'm gonna get the real answer. And like Brother Corey said, it ain't gonna be necessarily to a way that I want to feel it. So I need to think very carefully. Am I ready to receive the answer that I'm asking for?
Yeah,
Now
my
I need
mother.
to consider
Yeah,
that carefully because I'm gonna get it.
my mother always told me this: son, you can ask me anything you want, but what you ask me, make sure you're ready to have the answer to. If you're not ready to
Yep.
have
Make
the
sure you're
answer
ready for
to,
that answer.
yeah, don't ask me. And it goes back to what you just said. When it's unbleached and unfiltered, it comes off different. It's just like Jeffrey said, when you take the emotions out of it. This is one of the things I learned in the military, especially going up for boards and stuff. When you take the emotion out of it, you would think clearly and you will answer more clearly when you take the emotion out of it. That's what you just said. It's like I'm like, wow, but and that's what I mean. It's like and it goes back to what you said earlier. How and what Corey was saying, how you want it. You want some emotion in it. You want to know that, nah, baby, that dress is a little tight. Won't you try this one? But a man is not going to say that. It's, yeah, you can, like Tanya said, like, but you know your ass is fat before you put that shit on. I mean, it's just that simple.
If you got to ask, you already know the answer.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. Man, I got an intelligent panel tonight. Boy, I love this. We've been on here about a good hour, but I always like to do this. I always like to give everybody their final thoughts. You know, say whatever on your mind. If you just want to rant for the week, it's Hump Day. Um, I'm gonna let Miss Cynthia go first. You know, your final thoughts.
Well, I gotta go first. See, you just throwing me all off tonight. Wait a minute. What am I supposed to be doing? My final thoughts? I really don't have any final thoughts. I actually enjoyed this conference. I mean, I enjoyed them all,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like, we had a different panel, different, Mr. Corey, I was like kind of worried there for a minute because outside of outside of Lou, I was like, oh man, he the only dude on this panel. This about to be a problem. But you held your own though. You all right. You all right.
Yeah.
But as always, it's a pleasure. It's a good time. I enjoyed everyone. Miss Tara, it was good to see you. I mean, like
Good seeing
in,
you as well.
Hey.
outside of, photos and whatever else in the Facebook world. Miss Tanya, it's always a pleasure with you. I think this is what,
Too.
our second, third one.
Mm-hmm.
We become a pros at this, but no, like I said, I enjoy these conversations because it's all about changing the narrative. And, it's unfortunate, like I said, when we tie back to the subject of when we talk about, strong Black women, and it goes for any race, but it goes back to, especially with us as women, you know, we had to make the house the home, right? And that was one thing that I can always remember even with my grandmother, my grandfather. My grandfather was a coal miner, one of the first Black inspector coal miners, down in there. My grandmother worked too, but she also did the cooking. She also cleaned. You know what I'm saying? And she worked, and my grandfather put her in a position like, yo, house paid for. She driving a new car every 2 years, and you know, and again, she was a strong Black woman, but it didn't have to be talked about. It wasn't talked about
It was
how
just
strong
done.
she was. Like
Yeah.
I said, we now got to change this narrative because, like, and I have to agree with Grady where he said this narrative is being pushed to where they're pitting us against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I said. It comes back to the point when it comes to about the communication, and that we have these conversations, or you ask, or you have these conversations amongst yourself or your friends or with your spouse or whatever else. But again, we don't get to the bottom of it because everybody doesn't know how to communicate, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest problem. And so a lot of us, we don't listen to understand. We only listen to be able to say the next, our next comment or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I thank you, Lou, that you able to, to have this format, this forum for us to come together. Like I said, it can get a little
Yeah.
serious. Hopefully
Yeah.
nobody's feelings are hurt. We're all adults, right? That's
Right.
what we're
Right.
supposed to do, to be able to have these conversations and voice our opinions and thoughts. And no one person is right, no one is wrong. Again, we all have our different beliefs. We live our lives the way we choose to live 'em. I know, like my mother would tell you, and she always tell you, Cynthia gonna do what she want to do. You better ask somebody.
You a
But
Taurus.
as always, it's a pleasure.
I thank you. Miss Lash, your final thoughts?
I just appreciate the invite. I do enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the intelligent conversation. I'm around kids all day. So to get on here on Wednesday nights when I'm able to, I look forward to it. I kind of get a chance to use my big words. you know, because in
well,
school
well,
I don't get to use big words.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Miss Tara, your final thoughts?
Yeah, so my final thoughts are in closing, it's been a great conversation. I appreciate having been invited, to such an illustrious panel as I've mentioned. And I guess just my final thoughts in closing is just, challenging the whole narrative, challenging the trope of that whole strong black woman thing. It's not necessarily what we're called, but it's what we respond to. And so,
Mm-hmm.
it's incumbent upon us to share, yeah, I am strong, but I'm more than that too. I'm also a person who is sensitive. I'm a person who likes art. I'm a person who likes flowers. I'm a person who, you know, observes the beauty in everything. I'm also a
Mm-hmm.
person with a soul. I'm also a person that's sensitive. So when someone says those things, maybe it's incumbent upon us to push back with them and say, yes, but I am more than that. I am a culmination of many things, right? So there's that. And final remarks on the second part is that I think that in terms of dealing with men and specifically with that particular man, whether it be your romantic partner or whether it be a family member, you have to set the parameters of, okay, what does truth look like for me, and how do I want that truth conveyed, and am I able to take it? And to know that, if I've asked someone for a truth, I need to steel my resolve to be able to receive the truth that is that I say that I want.
Yeah.
So in closing, I'll take that. It gives me something to ponder on actually for the week, and it was great chopping it up with everybody. I look forward to doing it again soon.
All right. Corey, hey man, we done had many talks. What's your final thoughts, sir?
Yeah. So my final thoughts. Great. Again, thank you, Will, for inviting me, and thank you, young ladies, for opening my eyes to different aspects and different views. How they do it in West Virginia. Like I said, I just found my family in Charleston. They Garlands. They all in West Virginia. I was there 2 years ago, meeting all them up there in Charleston, West Virginia. So that was great. But as far as this topic, strong black woman, I think it's kind of a cancer for black families, because the worst thing America wanted is black. If a black family is strong together, moving, America don't want that. They do not want
Mm-mm.
a black family moving. They don't
You
want a black
stealing my
leader. They don't
thunder.
want anything black positive. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that division is dividing the man and woman, because they only divide us. They don't divide anyone else. They don't divide anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely think that America don't want a strong black family. That's why you don't see it on TV no more. It used to be on TV with little kids. How many black families on TV? My wife and my kids, the Huxtable. They don't see that on TV no more. So they don't want a strong black family.
Mm-mm.
So that's what I feel about that part. And
Mm-hmm.
then the truth thing, I don't. The truth is
Relative.
subjective.
Yeah,
The truth
subjective.
is subjective. You know what I mean? I just found out it's 5 seas in the ocean. Went to my son's school. It's 5 oceans rather. I grew up Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Now it's the Southern Ocean. They teaching my son about the Southern Ocean. So it's
Southern.
actually 5 now. It's no longer 4. Arctic, Pacific, Atlantic, Indian. That was the 4 that we crossed in the ocean in the
Yeah.
Navy, right? 4
Right.
seas. Now it's 5. So when we dead and gone, and then my kids dead and gone, guess what's gonna be the truth? 5 seas.
Mm.
So the truth is
That's true.
very subjective. It's very subjective. So, you want the truth to be different in 20 years. It'll be
Yes.
different in 20 years. Just
Mm-hmm.
hopefully be around to see it. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can see it's 5 oceans now.
Yeah.
And we in the book we knew 4. Now it's 5.
Well, this is my
So
final
truth is
thoughts.
all relative.
Yeah, this is my
Look it
final
up.
thoughts.
Southern Ocean. It's a
I
new
got you.
ocean out there now.
I got you. First of all, this goes for anybody that's listening, anybody that's been on my shows. If I ask you to be on the show, I think you somewhat intelligent, because anybody that know
Oh,
me know that I'm being telling the truth. Anybody that know me know I don't like to have small talk. I like to have a real conversation. So I appreciate all of y'all being here on the show. I appreciate Cynthia and Tanya for coming back every time I ask them to. You know what I'm saying? I know I asked you, Corey, one time before, and things fell through. But thank you for sticking with me, Tara. I thank you. After I told you the topic, you was chomping at the bit, as we say. So I thank you, and I will invite y'all back and let you know the topics and everything. But this is my final thoughts. It's like Corey was still in my thunder. We used to say the worst, what people were scared in America was a educated black man. But if you ever think about it, that educated black man in a family, he educated his family. It's like Corey said, that is the worst thing in America. It's like I used to tell my son, no coach want no dumb athlete. You know what I'm saying? He's an educated black man. So now that my family's educated, I done laid that foundation, and he has that same foundation and everything. My son graduated from William and Mary. Yes, I'm bragging. That's one of the prestigious colleges on the East Coast. And he started laying his foundation. That's two black families that's educated, right there. And you imagine if that just we keep paying that forward and keep paying that forward, our black woman won't be seen as a strong black woman. That our black woman will be seen as nurturing, as caring, as mothering, as loving, because she's gonna be taken care of from that man in that strong black family. I do think it starts with the men in the black family. We have to change that foundation. We have to change that narrative. You know what I'm saying? Until we do that as men, come together as one and build that foundation for our woman to allow a woman to be able to feel at ease in her femininity. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to change. You have to let that woman feel at ease in her femininity. You know what I'm saying? And the other topic, about the truth, do women really want the truth? I'm always going to say no to that because I'm a very harsh dude. And when I tell my truth, it's not nice. And I hurt feelings. And I can only speak to my... Hey, Corey, you laughing hard because you know. And that's what I say today. So if you're asking me, my opinion is my truth, I'm going to give it to you raw. Because my mama, Madeline Edna Lewis, gave it to me raw. And that's what I know. My son will tell you, my daddy was always harsh and mean. It wasn't that I was mean. I grew up in the streets. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't no big time drug dealer, nothing like that. I'm not saying that, but I saw the harsh reality of the streets, is what I'm saying. So, but again, I love the fact that y'all came on and everything, and we will do this again. Come up with a good topic. So,
Aaron.